final draft between Envy and Phoenix1. Kled banned out once more. We'll see how Phoenix1 think about first Zac in NA LCS. Do they give it back? Do they say probably not, unless we're trading it for Ivern? Hard to say here, but there's the Ash ban for P1, so might be sticking to banning those ADs again. And I thought the second game draft was actually genius from P1, particularly how they played the whole first phase. But Envy saying, none of that, we're banning Ivern.
Yeah,
Pick something else.
No Ivern. And then game one, Team EnVyUs bans were Kled, Ivern, LeBlanc. So I assume you go with those three bans again, the Kled, Ivern, LeBlanc. Shut down a lot of the composition that was just had by Phoenix1. And Phoenix1, Ashe was a ban, Varus, Lee Sin, Zac does have to jump up there as well. But are they saying that you didn't pick Zac fast enough for us to really think that you want it? Unsure. Because I think if you leave Zac up here as Phoenix1, Envy snatch that thing up.
Let's see what happens here. 10 seconds for Envy. There's the LeBlanc ban, so going back to game one there. Great sense there by Zirene. And it does make I think make a lot of sense given how the game one went for them and what the threats were in that last game.
And this is a funny conundrum because you're like, do we ban Zac because it's powerful? LirA was okay on it, wasn't great late. Or do we ban Lee Sin because he's really good at that champion? And now you have to kind of weigh those things against each other. And all right, so they're going for the Karma, which was first picked in game one by Envy.
Yep. So kind of trying to block that pick, but yeah, Zac's open, Lee Sin's open, like a lot here for Envy to try and take, but what's the right pick is the question.
Yeah, but what Phoenix1 have done in their bans, it's all bottom lane focused. They're saying, you guys actually destroyed us bottom lane both games in the early game, trying to shut that down, and Envy say, guess what? We're gonna try it again.
Really nice stuff then. This was the kind of the other ban that Envy threw, I think opened up Zyra Khan for them with Ashe and Varus ban, but they say, we're not taking either jungler. LirA will trade. He will happily take which one you don't want. We want Caitlyn, who has been arguably the best bottom laner still, especially if you want to get aggressive and bully your lane.
And it'll be most likely Caitlyn and Zyra is what I would assume would come through. Hakuho special on that one, as well as Apollo. They both love these champions, but Lulu here for Shady. Maybe some protection for Arrow again, but it's not a shoving lane. It's not a winning lane. It's one that's more for that protection to win the late game.
Yeah, a bit more of a kind of a budget shield comp starting here, perhaps. But Lulu's certainly a strong overall support. And Phoenix1 actually going to say, we need a carry right now, so we're going to take Kog'Maw. Not going to go for the Twitch, going for something Picks maybe a little bit earlier, but certainly showing their hand, saying we're going to play around Arrow again at least a little bit.
And now for Envy, it's, I would really think in terms of jungle, either Zac, Lee Sin, or Gragas and flex it. But I don't really think the Elise would be great unless it's LirA's specialty, because you want something to get Arrow either away or into your team.
Well, great call on the Zyra. That is the pick, and it will be paired with Lee Sin. So Envy going to leave Zac over to Phoenix1 if they want to take it now. It's pretty unlikely that Inori gets it if they don't take it here. So we'll see what Phoenix1 want to do with their last pick here. But LirA, I think, saying, you know what, Zac? He's fun, he's very strong, and he's just fine at him. But, I mean, LirA's amazing at Lee Sin. If it's open, you kind of have to take it.
Yeah, and now, the Nunu, the other Protect the Kog'Maw.
Oh, no!
I used to be an Inori fan, I'm not anymore. He plays Lulu and Ivern. I'm done. No, I want to see how he does here, because he went from being this aggressive Kha'Zix player, this Graves player, this guy who just wanted to be up in your face, and now he's playing supportive things. We're really seeing a huge shift for Inori's style, because not only is it him playing those things, he plays the Ivern well. 3-1 overall career record on that champion. Only time he lost on it was that first game he ever played it against TSM before he had his personality kind of, or ego check, right?
Well, there's a ban over to Pirean. Nice respect for the Talia there by Phoenix1. I do like taking that away. Sets up some picks for Rio. I think Envy will ban at least the Syndra again. We'll see if they do look for yet another mid lane ban or if they want to try something else.
Syndra, possibly Ahri as well, but the Shen don't want another protection champion coming through, but
I believe Orianna sticking out.
Galio, Orianna, there's just not enough bans to really kind of put a crutch on what, or I make Phoenix1 use a crutch instead.
It's pretty interesting here. I mean, this comp already looking pretty similar to what we saw G2 running a lot of in MSI, you know, protecting a strong team fighting AD carry, in their case Sven, in Phoenix1's case Arrow, has cannon banned away again. I think they don't want, they want to make sure they can't get split around the map. They actually did this last game, which I think makes, it's not very intuitive why you would ban a split pusher like Cannon when you're trying to have this build this like team fight comp. It's like, well, whatever, we don't care, but turns out when you lose all your turrets, you tend to lose, so Can't need to stop that.
and it is Seraph, right? Seraph on Kennen, just being able to split push. Orianna, nice ban, like you said. Galio up.
Syndra up too.
Syndra, Ahri.
It's tough. I mean, what to pick for P1 I think is the first thing here, because I think Syndra makes a lot of sense. It blocks a ton of picks for Pirean. Ryu's unafraid of almost any matchup that we've seen from Pirean.
And we know that Pirean plays Syndra, and he does play it well. But the question is, can you run Fizz or Kassadin into this? Because you know Pirean plays those champions.
Echo as well. I mean, there's certainly a lot of options here against Syndra. Syndra's such a powerful champion, but there are ways to get around it. Fizz would be great here. I'd love to see something nice and aggressive from Pirean. Goes with Ahri instead. Flushes us to Fizz though, so was at least thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the Jayce for Seraph. Really aggressive.
I don't like
really
it.
Aggressive.
I don't like it. I feel like whenever they pick the Jayce, it goes to the top lane. It'll be up like 20 CS, maybe, and it doesn't always end up being a turret or getting them a large advantage. And I definitely think the Galio is the one you go with here.
Took the Shen last time, I think, with that ban. Galio was the obvious takeaway in. P1 have built almost an identical looking comp from game number 2 here. And I think Envy, they know they can get an early lead. They've got good aggressive champions in, I'm going to say, every single lane, actually. So it's just a matter of, if they get the lead, can they convert the mid game? Because Phoenix1 to me is saying, no, you can't.
Yeah. Envy are saying, we're going to try to win lane. They did this before, win lane and have an aggressive jungler. This seems to be more of the Envy style that we're seeing come out that has been mildly successful for them, but they're getting those mid-game advantages. We've seen Envy with 5,000 gold leads, 6,000, 7. It doesn't seem to matter when they try to end the game. That's when it backfires. That's when their compositional flaws or incomplete parts of their comp come back to bite them, because you need to win this game by split pushing, picking people off. You're not doing a Baron without a tank. You're baiting. You're looking for a way to get in, and you need enough damage to get through a Galio, a Nunu, and the shields of the Lulu. This is going to be rough for Envy if it hits that late game.
LirA has worked late game Lee Sin miracles before, but that might be the only vestige they really have, apart from a huge late game blunder from P1 to find a way back into the game. So it looks like a tough one here. Phoenix1. I'm going to call this the run back as far as Game 2 comps go. It's so similar, despite some champion change-ups, that I think they are very much running the same style. Envy, back to comfort for them in a lot of different ways, but there's a reason not every team just win lane, win games. It's very difficult to do in the pro environment, so I'll see if Envy can get it done. And that's been, again, my big thing for me is Envy, so talented. And we've seen when they do play more, synergistic, team-oriented comps, they can make them work as well. But it feels like whenever they're up against it, they go back to what they know. And while what they know is fun and can win them games, it doesn't necessarily improve you as a team over time. And that's what Envy are looking for this split.
Envy want to improve. We know that they're good players. We know that Hakuho can win the lane. We know that Apollo can, what we saw these last 2 games, actually beat up on Arrow and Shady. They just need to transition these things. You can do it. Transition. That's what the big thing is in competitive play, because you can, sure, be better than your lane opponent, but that's not going to win you the game. It's going to win you the lane, but how do you keep pushing your advantage?
Well, looks like Ryu actually going to eat some early aggression from LirA. First Q is going to land and get some damage down. Thunderlord's proximate to Lee Sin. Ryu going to get chunked, but should have time to go back to base as Shady roaming up here as well. It does not cancel LirA's base. Guesses with the Glitter Lance. Not able to stop that here, and things will be okay. Calm down a little bit here. We'll have to see how the early jungle pans out. But Zirene, I have to ask you, I know
I hate
personally in your heart, you know what? I'm there with you as well. And we've got Nunu, which I know you also
I was like, is that
pretty vehemently dislike.
Question?
No, I mean, no, but looking adorable right now for Arrow. Even though you dislike Nunu on a personal, philosophical level, what do you think of its actual role in competitive? Because I think some people are starting to think that Nunu might actually be pretty good as far as a champion. Certainly something that isn't like a joke champion. You can pick it and it can be quite successful.
Yeah, like when I said AD carry 2017 LOL is out, Nunu helps a lot with that too. So if you just have somebody buffing up your support and Nunu gets so much HP, and also the new Stoneborn pack for him gives him more HP, has HP on top of HP, and then his snowball allows people to heal off of it. So really, Nunu's like a walking Ardent Sensor. Makes it so you heal off the person, makes it so that you have extra attack speed. So I feel like, he tries to go through the jungle and clear it and then buy some items, but I want to see what he does in, like you talked about, role and competitive. Buffs up the AD carry, but can he make LirA not have fun this game.
I mean, that's kind of Nunu's thing. That's why a lot of junglers, I know why you don't like Nunu, is that he's the anti-fun champion. Starting a buff there. Envy did get information. Seraph popped down to the Raptors, but Nunu has a lot of trouble doing anything but this route. Buff to buff here for Inori to start it off.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing there. I assume he goes for like Scuttle Crab and stuff to try and just pick it up and control the bottom side of the jungle.
Waddles off to Grump, so gonna go there instead, and looks like he's just full clearing right now. LirA, I think with the information he got, started on his opposite side of the jungle, so no real invade path for Inori to get to. LirA now gonna be able to full clear his jungle and to do a little bit faster as Pirean takes a boatload of damage from Ryu.
Yeah, trade some auto attacks too. And oh yeah, another thing is like Nunu actually isn't very good at killing the Raptor camp. That's why people didn't play him for so long. So even if the enemy like Raptor camp is up and stuff, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
That actually
killing the blast cone.
How does it say that he's exceptionally bad at killing the Raptor camp?
Probably one of the worst champions in the entire game at killing it.
All right, gonna steal these Krogs away though, so a little bit of counter jungling for Inori. This one's a tricky-ish. It's kind of medium difficulty for Nunu. If you want to look at it as like a scale of how easily he does the camp.
Once you get to your Sunfire cape, you're good, or Syndra.
Here's a Nunu gank.
Oh, the dank Nunu gank.
Paul's like, yeah, I'm holding on to all my summoners. I'm not afraid of you. Hakuho with some good trade damage back on a Shady, actually.
It's like the Nunu gank is just a bluff.
Yep.
And then you give up your top side jungle, so... not the greatest gank in the world. I would actually say it's more on the abysmal side.
Well, it does leave some Krugs as well, so LirA's going to lose a little bit out there. Taking out the other side, so LirA should be ahead actually early on in experience. And oh no, better Raptor camp.
All right.
And always like, yeah, okay, he's not going to leave the camp. Has to kite it out.
This legitimately will take him 20 auto attacks.
That's a lot.
It's like 3 on each.
Even with the red buff helping out, eats one of them, doesn't even die. Oh, it's a disaster. He's going to get there though. LirA's already finished his recall with me. First time and goes, yeah, like you said, it's really tough for Nunu.
But you have to do it. You have to do it.
Turns out, yes, with a lot of golden XP. At some point you have to.
Oh.
All right, well, after the bottom lane annoyance there, the strut by Snowball by Inori. Ooh, good little root.
The damage on Apollo.
Shady getting taken down. Hakuho out of mana though. A little too low for Apollo to step forward, so Arrow and Shady going to win out in the end of that trade.
And this is a winning bottom lane for P1 when normally wouldn't be. I actually think the Doran shield and the way that Shady's been playing this lane is big. And you know, maybe the Nunu gank wasn't as memey as I thought it was.
Well, certainly, again, some presence is nice, but here's LirA with the real gank.
Another level 4 no ward bottom here. That root misses Shady,
not
but...
gonna get Shady, but yeah, he's gonna get slowed down first. Bother goes over to Shady. LirA not quite there in time. A bit of a facepalm moment there for Apollo.
That... he still has flash, and LirA had that. Like, you don't need to help him at that point. You just throw the auto in there and you get out. But is he, I was like, is he gonna troll Arrow?
That'd be very amusing, but
Nunu literally trolls his own team too.
LirA spotted though. Ooh, lands onto Arrow. Might think about it. Inori doesn't offer too much resistance, but LirA's like, can't really kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And he only has Hakuho there with pretty much no mana.
Hakuho actually, is he shoving the lane? I'll have a look in a second, but yeah. Apollo uses his heal, goes back in, and this doesn't need to be this far forward.
And like, Shady already flashed, so... No. No. LirA has that.
Well, all right. Again, missed that for Apollo. Forgive him for now. LirA, again, great timing on the gank and bottom side. No vision for P1 means they are going to struggle there. You can see Seraph is up 20 CS right now, although Zig's going to catch up as he clears this wave. Forces that TP out. Triple Doran, 1 shield and 2 rings for Zig. Going to try and get through what's a very tough landing phase.
Yeah, you take the Doran shield first in this matchup because you're going to take a lot of just damage instead of wanting to shove. You take the Doran's ring in lanes that you want to shove, and you can't really shove against the Jayce. If you shove against him, he just pulls it into the top bush, freezes the wave, and you're like, well, great. I'm going to go before I even get this to turret. And then you'll just hold it there and freeze it. So it's good that he went for that. Now he has enough shoving power with the double Dorans. And he's going back already.
Yep. Goes back, gets some boots. Again, just some early consumables, trying to stay alive as long as possible. Also with the early cloth armor is Seraph's also going back, but that's a Bilgewater Cutlass in his inventory. Yeah,
Seraph did this as well yesterday when he played Jayce. He built Blade of the Ruined King first against tanks for sustain and just extra damage in terms of their percent HP.
I can buy it.
Yeah.
I like it from Seraph. Someone that always brings a unique carry flavor to the top lane.
Tank busting / split pushing. Like, what stops you from split pushing, taking a lot of Galio W damage or Q damage randomly? So you'll just heal right up. You can't get him out of lane. And then you'll buy Black Cleaver second item. Go full tank buster.
Or Ghost Blade.
Yeah.
Missed.
I'm actually just very surprised like he doesn't blind pick something like a Fiora when Kennon's banned, etc. Haven't seen much of Seraph's Fiora. It's a mystery.
I think she's notably absent actually in general this weekend, but certainly picked out a lot of players are talking about.
This pick ban is really strange. Zach just went unpicked or banned.
Yep, we finally ruined the stat.
Ruined my statistics, man.
Alrighty, well, back on track here. LirA and Pirean teaming up for some vision. Blue is warded, but here's a gank opportunity. Ryu with all the sums, though. LirA lines it up. Kick, not quite there. The charm is great, but a good touch from Ryu. Never mind, LirA still gets it. And Inori, yep, really effective with the counter gank. I mean, that's the problem, right? Nunu just can't do very much.
At least Sin just gets to be very active and very aggressive. So LirA got the flash and cleanse out of Ryu, but Pirean's still there with the follow-up after LirA went for the kick. The flash kick. And look at this. They saw that Nunu had almost no mana, so he'll be able to walk in here.
Steal away a blue buff. Might go over to Pirean, who's actually going back. Never mind. Hakuho not going to get it either. LirA just says, "I'll taking advantage over the jungle."
Kill it fast before this Nunu like walks around the corner and then just shows up to consume it.
Yeah, looks like, again, Bottom continuing to play up and aggressive. Apollo and Hakuho slowly pushing this one in as they watch this gank again. I mean, Ryu tried everything here. It's just so difficult to get away.
Yeah, flash to the other side, but then it still put him in a range that Pirean was okay with getting. And even though he was exhausted there, he was exhausted, he still got the, oh wait, no, it's the other way around, sorry. Yeah, it was the cleanse that came through and made sure it wasn't on there.
Yep. And again, like Ryu can get out of all these things, but Ahri Lee Sin is such a good mid-jungle duo because you can just feel like you kill anyone from any position.
Kick him anywhere.
I know what happened.
Like, catch him.
Legitimately, Ryu had all sums up and Syndra and still died as Inori snowballs over. This is quite the three-man gank. Good flash out of the Justice Punch, but Seraph gonna get stunned by Ryu. Anyway, there's a bit of gold back for the mid laner.
Yeah, Inori just flashing over the wall for the Nunu snowball after they had done the blue buff, and Seraph just sticking around. He's actually gonna lose his top turret in this Jayce matchup, and I just don't like the Jayce pick a whole lot.
We thought Nunu couldn't do anything in a gank. Who are we?
He can get that turret, and that's first, or sorry, yeah, it is first turret. But it's split among 3 people.
2v3 attempts here, Pirean with ulti. Punch away from
still has ulti.
Looking for Ryu, I think. No sums, but no chance there. P1 get away, and maybe an overstay there. Bit optimistic for Envy, but first turret gold over to Phoenix1. Not quite a big gold lead, but happy to take kind of an early advantage.
Exactly, on a team that you're kind of like, we want to not lose early, right? So you have this bottom lane that should be shoved in. You have this mid lane where you can roam a little bit better with the Ahri and go for picks, and then LirA aggressive jungle, as well as a Jayce top. Like, you should be having at least 1,000 gold advantage early just off of laning from Envy's composition. But P1, if you're even like this, you're more than happy.
Yep, and I like this from LirA. Taking the Rift Toad, at least trying to trade something back here after the top lane fiasco. And
I mean, you need to help top. Jayce is going to be pretty much useless in this game unless you actually help him out.
Let's see where LirA goes with the Rift Toad. Doesn't have to activate it for, I think, 4 minutes is how long it lasts?
Yes, 240 seconds.
So we'll take the Empowered Recall for a little while longer. That was a little extra awkward for Lee Sin.
And little tip for people playing against Rift Herald. Oh, hold on.
That's all in. Shady gonna get knocked up here.
Boom.
Very clean from Envy.
Nice from Apollo, the first pick. Caitlyn, they put it in his hands, and man, this bottom lane has not been going P1's way at all.
Oh. And now mid lane, the one going to try and break open, but no one actually there for Envy. They might be trying to make a double play with the Herald, forcing P1 to go there. They're pinging onto the Drake around the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, that was weird. They were going for the Drake. They're using it to get damage on that mid turret when they maybe could have been able to assist the wave. And oh my god! Oh wait, you can't do 2,000 damage to that in time, LirA.
Yeah.
Inori's caught though.
Pirean's here, Hakuho up as well. Arrow still alive. So that's damage in. Ultimate out. Pirean's absolutely there. Gives his life up for the Drake. Arrow takes some damage, but Shady's back to protect him. And
that was very interesting.
Seen a lot of different Rift Herald usages over the weekend. Does feel like teams are still adjusting to it. That one, not a huge fan of. This though, very big fan.
Yes. Walks forward. Shady a little bit out of position. Caught by Hakuho. great route against the wall, the diagonal route. You actually have no dodge path there. You have to flash, and then the knock-up from the Stranglethorn afterwards, perfect CC layering into trap, into headshot, into 90 caliber net, into headshot.
And that Shady going down, I think despite using his ultimate there as well. So good bit of extra goal for the Caitlyn. Apollo certainly wants to try and get more of a lead if he can. Infinity Edge being worked on, almost finished, but not quite there. Arrow on the other hand, only just to build water. Does have money to spend, double dagger plus a ninja tower, so
yeah,
aware that he needs to just get through this lane as best as he can.
Yeah, just get through the lane. It's one of the things that really kind of made Twitch and Kog'Maw be more meta, is they were already kind of coming into the meta, but then Doran Shield 2 potions start, and people buying Ninja Tabis, your first back is usually getting a Vamp Scepter, so pushing you out of lane becomes incredibly difficult. They have to all in you to really get something from that lane.
All right, well, the Rift Herald mid damage may actually be a long con here, and we do get the bottom outer turret, which is nice, and can start to rotate this Caitlyn around and start sieging the other outer turret, so Envy should have a really good opportunity to open up a big lead here.
That's such a great point, because if you can rotate this Caitlyn around, if you can rotate Apollo around, and really just have him be aggressive on these turrets, that's how you start pushing this advantage, winning this game. Because P1, how do they engage on you? Nunu kind of waddles up, and then you Galio ulti the Nunu. It's like, not really. That's kind of hard to do against the Zyra. So Envy should really have no fear playing around these turrets and sieging. And check Apollo really quickly. 2 points in trap, 4 into his Piltover Peacemaker. We'll see when he has that trap maxed, and see if he starts putting points into it now, because you usually want to play Piltover Peacemaker for wave clear and for your lane phase, and then as soon as you get out of it, you start putting more points in traps. So you can have 5 when you go for the turret siege.
Squad was moving on towards the top side. Zig and Inori trying to threaten Seraph, who's quick pushing up. Does have that Blade of the Ruin King now finished, but looks like we are going to get this rotation finally hitting the mid lane. Ace in the hole, pokes out Ryu. Shady here for protection though. We're just continuing to move up. Seraph playing aggressive.
Exactly. They're moving up 3 people total. And they're trying to do to Zig what happened to Seraph.
Oh, huge damage. Never mind. I was like waiting for a charm and he already died. So
yep,
really nice little combo there. LirA pretty much did most of the work himself, and then good follow-up from the rest of Envy for a kill. And ideally the turret as well. Envy are trying to convert this pick into another objective.
I feel like if you think about these teams in terms of speed, Envy should be the fastest team in the NA LCS in terms of they just have a very high tempo with LirA. LirA wants to constantly make plays, and if he can, you just play around that jungler. He's one of the fastest at going around the map and just finding those plays and forcing them. So if Envy, with like the roam we just had there where he teamed up with new mid laner Pirean, that could be something that helps them with all of these early games, reestablish those advantages that they had in spring, but just closing it out becomes the slow part. If they can keep that tempo up, then they're in good shape.
Yep. Nice little lane assignments here as well for Envy. Ocean Drake going to help out some of these siege situations, and there is the second one up in the next few minutes. But Pirean, more than enough time to work on this turret. Zig so late to come back here after getting picked off, and mid lane again still weak. 2 turrets to 1 now for Envy, with a third likely on the way.
Yep, trying to get there as fast as possible. And they go up to the top side. Zig does clear out the caster minions except for 1. Doesn't matter though, because it's dive, and that was a kick that was so fast it wasn't even able, like Zig didn't even hold down W, nothing like that, but he abandoned the turret as well so that Seraph was able to just walk by and not take as much damage as he normally would.
Nice stuff there. They're continuing to jungle nice and efficiently through. Warrior plus Tech Drinker already done, so he's actually quite strong in these early stages. Good ward from Zig, spots him on the Gromp side, but again, it's kind of where to Envy go with this now Infinity Edge Caitlyn.
Yep.
To try and apply pressure again. Apollo sitting back in mid lane.
Yeah, full 5 ranks into his queue. So now he'll start getting them into traps, and that'll be level 13 for him. But right now, it's just trying to wave clear against the wave clear of the Syndra. Question mark? It just ends up happening that way in the mid game. And these are the things where you have to find creative ways to either get the Syndra out, to gank the Syndra, to flank the Syndra, to find a way to push her out of lane. And the traps really kind of circumvent that and just make it really easy to do. Because, like, do you want to walk up there? I don't think so.
I like this actually. Carrying with the Banshee, threatening a charm. Oh, gets the charm in. Hakuho looks to follow through. Ryu almost dies to the instant burst, but that should be enough for the turret. Apollo staying around, needs 1 more.
Seraph, is there a shock blast?
Does get it. Shock blast lining up. Good block.
Ooh, that wasn't even an
Did
accelerated
go through the gate, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of was like, oh, there's a ward coming down. Oh, look. And, like, just kind of fumbled a little bit. But he went back to the top.
Panics. All right, well, Seraph, again, working on top tier 2. So this rotation is correct for Envy, despite maybe a slight fumble in execution.
Yeah, it's right. Pirean goes down to the bottom side as well and sets up, pushes this wave out. Want to push all your waves, top, mid, and bot. Push out your top one, go back. How much gold does Seraph has? He's got only 900, so it's not huge in terms of a purchase, but you want to set up for this Ocean Drake. Start rotating those Drakes, just taking whatever advantage you can.
So they've opened up enough here to probably take it.
Actually, it's a pincer here.
Ooh,
LirA.
LirA kicks it
Oh,
over. Great charm! And Pirean collects the kill. LirA setting it up again.
That was a kick right into that charm. Beautifully played from that duo. Mid-jungle synergy. I don't think we've really ever talked about that for Envy. But LirA seems to have synergy with his bottom lane going now, and now he's working with Pirean right in tandem.
Really good looking stuff. Like I said, at least Inori is disgusting
Good
as far as
skirmish.
playmaking goes. So LirA and Seraph now going to team up, take down the Ocean Drake, and the siege can begin. Apollo's got a pretty healthy chunk of gold to go spend, 1,500 or so right now. So he's going to get bigger and stronger moving into that next item. And if this continues, Envy looking good in the mid game.
Yeah, it looked like they were looking for a pincer because Jayce is up on the top left. So Ryu's just going for a sweep. Oh, that was so good too. Even before he landed, Pirean threw the charm at the location. Oh, well played there.
Very clean once again. Apollo headshots a minion. Again, just kind of sweeping these out. Played the Ruin King, now finished for Arrow. Should be working on item number 2 pretty soon. Got 1,000 gold banked up at the moment. Envy though should continue back. Looks like Jayce topside. Pirean holding the side lane down and might try and assault, I think probably mid tier 2. Waiting kind of for that next objective spawn to happen.
Yep, need vision around the Baron, which is up in a minute and a half. I would say you play towards mid-top here. Don't have to worry too much about bottom. You maybe put Seraph there, but I think you put Seraph in the top side, and you try to just control this top half of the jungle. Red buff is up, too.
Yeah, LirA's going to steal it as well. I think maybe give it over to Apollo. Be a pretty easy pick up.
Oh, okay, he got it, he got it.
Okay, never mind. Zig gets the last auto through, but now Zig's starting a fight. LirA trying to get up, but a double taunt actually is pretty good looking. Inori with the ulti, but LirA flashes out of it. Kick back down for the Zig into Arrow. Kog'Maw taking quite a bit of damage on the other end of it. Ryu finally joined the fight there. Envy, no, it's not safe anymore.
Yeah, these are some crazy choke points to try and walk through, too. Talked about how you're going to have to be able to shred through Inori and Zig, who have so much in terms of resistances later in the game, but they still have this 4,000 gold lead, this mid-game spike for this composition, and it's becoming so difficult for Envy for P1 to actually navigate these fights, especially in those chokes that Hakuho can utilize.
Well, again, Envy kind of still working their way up to a bigger lead. They've got 4,000 up already, which is nice.
Yeah, and a lot of this advantage is Apollo is 1,600 gold up over Arrow, and then in the jungle, it's 1,200 gold up for LirA. They've just been doing an immaculate job. Really, Apollo, I've actually been impressed with Apollo all 3 games. It seems like he's got more synergy with LirA. LirA has helped some disastrous situations, but even the 2-on-2 has been better. Just one fumbled this game, and that's really it.
Oh, Seraph now caught up by 4 members of Phoenix1, taunted by
Baron. Go Baron. He's down. Their TP is down, and you don't have Pirean. Pirean was shoving bottom side. Pirean's going to have to rush over here, and you have Nunu. It's not really a 50-50. This is more like a 60-40, but I guess they don't feel like they can do it.
Yeah, Envy sniff it out. P1 don't want to commit too hard.
But now they lose their mid-tier 2. They're going to lose damage on this mid-tier 2. Pirean gets to walk up and hit it.
That's kind of the problem. It's like, okay, if the call is Baron, why are you pulling off, right? You have to commit to the play. Maybe kind of one step behind as far as thoughts go for P1, just not thinking it all the way through.
Yeah, a lot of respect for LirA for sure.
I mean, certainly something I would show. Very good jungler. But like you said, the pressure coming out, and this should be a turret at least getting chunked very, very hard here, if not taken down completely.
Yeah.
Not enough, though.
Galio wave clear, and also not level 13 yet, so Apollo's still only 3 ranks in traps, so he can't cover that whole lane just yet.
So he's going to rotate down. Now he'll join this bottom side. Make sure he's got pressure flowing that way. I think I might have finally seen, I think realizing now they're swapping up their teleport to the bottom half of the map while the Drake isn't available, so going to put Seraph on, I'd say the correct side, given the current map position.
Yeah. He's pretty close to his black cleaver. He's still about, let's say, 700 plus away. So, really can't do too much to the Galio with the frozen heart and the extra HP behind him.
Yeah, in general, a lot of gold to spend for Envy. Actually, get everyone kind of working up towards their next major item. Good route, though, onto Inori. Strangle's going to follow. Cancels the ultimate as well.
Another trap.
Now another trap. Headshots in. Shady commits the ult to try and save him. Zig going to try and zone the rest of the map, but now he's getting shot as Pirean. Off on the flank. Banshee's got goes off. Big ace in the hole. Damage is out there. Shady going to be the next target. Finally dies, but it's only one. Zig forced to flash away. There was LirA here, but Ryu in to defend for the team.
Oh, that was beautifully played with the entrance from Pirean. Couldn't pick up Inori exactly, but still got Shady, so we got a large source of their warding down.
Some pings again onto the Baron area. Going to take the plant, clear the wards out, continue that pressure going. And meanwhile, Seraph, again, pressure where it needs to be on this bottom half of the map. P1, if they go into with too many people, Envy could start the Baron.
Exactly. You saw Zig there, and Zig actually burned his flash, so you don't have to worry about a flash taunt anymore.
Turret over as well. Zig not going to be here in time. Jayce is very good at tearing through turrets. He's able to take that one down. Seraph does need to go back and spend some goals. Envy can't overstay their welcome here, but this is the kind of advantages they wanted to keep building here. And Seraph, it's not the same split pusher like a Shen, but he does love split pushing, and it is an effective strategy for Envy.
Yeah, I always just think about Seraph's career, and it's pretty much in a side lane. That's all it is. His best games are when he gets to play in a side lane, take turrets. That's why Kennen gets banned against him all the time now, because he just constantly sits in that side wave. And that's what it's all about for this guy. And I mean, it's hard to kind of make a well-rounded career out of that, and you want to see more like the Shen. But when it works, then it works.
Certainly the formula looking good for Envy right now. A sizable advantage still being built up, close to 6,000 gold in the lead. We'll see if, again, they can clean up some of the mid-game pressure and objective macro play. I mean, the funny thing is, this game is still actually very early on. I forgot we're only 23.5 minutes in, and Envy with 2 Drakes threatening the Baron on another cloud they'll likely get given the map position.
Yeah.
P1 are building up to a big team fight, but haven't been given anything yet.
Yeah, and this is a large gold lead, similar to the one that was in the last game, about 5,000. This is 6,000, and they have things like a Nunu. They have to play around Arrow, who's at 2 items. Oh, Kog'Maw can spike around that point. 3 is really good for him. But you're waiting for Shady to kind of get the redemption, get the Ardent Sensor. Inori only completed his Warmog so far. But then you look at the items of Envy, they already have armor penetration for Apollo. He's already got his 2-item big power spike for Caitlyn. And then you have Pirean, who's just made it so hard to catch him and really blow him up if you're Ryu. So the Banshee's Veil plus the Merc Treads. Banshee's Veil's first as well.
Yeah, Pirean seems to like a lot of Banshee's Veil first, but this combination of items is becoming increasingly common.
Yeah.
For a lot of the AP mids.
And it's super defensive as well. So Pirean just seems to not want to be that exploitable, and he's getting kind of gifted some kills, helped out by LirA for some of these kills. And it's working out for him, but the question is, do they have enough damage in this mid game to blow up somebody like Arrow and Inori, as well as Zig, and get through that damage?
Right now, again, Envy just balling P1 all across the map. Turret getting worked in here by Pirean, and Ryu's going to join up here, but I mean, it's so difficult for Syndra to kill an Ahri solo.
Yeah.
Pirean, again, going to get the Banshees. In fact, they'll both trade their shields off. But Pirean just running, LirA getting the Drake. No need to overextend.
And, like, you have 2 Ocean Drakes on a team that's trying to 1-3-1. It feels so good to actually do that. Even if Seraph takes any damage or spends mana, like shock blasting or Wing, or like poking out Zig, then he's going to just regen that right back up.
I think for Super Tank Galio, I mean, Black Cleaver plus Blade of the Ruined King, if Seraph's trying to bust down a tank in a side lane, these are the kind of items you need to do it. So Tower now going down again, Envy with 5 turrets to 1, as Apollo takes yet another in the mid lane. And now Baron is the big question mark on the map, because if Envy can set this up and take it clean, P1 have almost no chance of coming back in this game.
It's getting pretty dire, and when you look at these situations, when we talk about Phoenix1, you know, they aren't too far behind because of their comp. You can make them too far behind by getting a Baron, but they're just so scared of going for that. It happened last game, too. Had chances to go for a Rift Herald, had chances to go for a Baron and push their lead as Envy. They end up giving a lot of those things over.
Seraph is just going to stick in this bottom lane. He's got the TP that wants to play the Baron, and he's sitting pretty in the 1v1 versus Zig. He even got damage onto that inhibitor turret. Like, if Zig can't even sit there and just force Seraph away without his turret dying. So at some point, Envy, I just want to see some patience for them here. Seraph's getting everything you need. Just wait till 2 people show up and go straight to Baron.
Exactly.
Don't 50-50 again.
I mean, it's also a Nunu, so it's like, gets kind of risky, but you have ways of keeping him out. The kick, the charm, Hakuho can go after him. It's a Nunu. It's very telegraphed what he's going to try to do.
Certainly is. Not that tanky yet either. Warmog's first is I assume standard. I have almost nothing about current state of Nunu.
Yeah, Warmog is actually just a really good item overall right now that's kind of under-purchased, because you can just have those skirmishes and stay out on the map forever, and it's just super good in terms of the regen. Gets you up to full very quickly. It's like sitting in the fountain when it turns on. And also, you only need Syndra Hulk plus Warmog to actually hit the HP cap, or HP threshold, where it has the passive activate. So it's super good. You can buy it on like Sejuani, Nunu, second item, and it makes you tanky against the whole field as well. Armor and magic resistance.
Really good stuff.
Then I think you get Gargoyle Stoneplate, third item, for both resistance.
The new hotness. Hey guys, remember old GA? Yeah.
Yeah,
Here you go.
Here's new GA. Yeah, Gargoyle Stoneplate's interesting because it's like increases your health by 100%, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know how to value that. Literally, just think of it as 50% damage reduction. That's what it is 50% damage reduction for those seconds, and that is huge. All right, so much DR.
This is great setup though for Envy. Getting the wards down, sweeping things out, maybe even stealing the blast plant. They don't have to just yet though. And again, have Seraph pressure. Just be patient. Pirean getting the waves going in topside. Jungle is dark for P1 as they slowly move their vision out. And Seraph is just working Zig in that side lane with 2 Oceans to try and help him. Envy should have everything they need to try and set it up here. They just need to make sure they do it properly.
It's almost 10,000 gold up. It's so close now to hitting that point because they're catching side wave. Top turret's going to go down in just a second. Don't get caught mid if you're Envy.
And that's the thing. Again, Envy, 10,000 gold up with now the last tier 2 turret going down and without having taken a Baron. Like, these are insanely big leads that Envy are able to build. And even in game 1 when we saw this, they needed a bit of a tricky looking Baron to try and take the game. Now they're going to start it. Let's see how they respond.
Yeah, and I think this is great because P1 only have 1 blue trinket. It's also on cooldown. Inori's in the area. I actually don't think he has any wards on his tracker's knife. And that's it. Yeah, that's the blast going over. He's going to have to flash blind, get a ward from somebody else. There it is for Shady.
And then instantly Envy pull up. Smart stuff again. Seraph still getting work done here on the bottom side.
Half HP down bottom. It's actually probably lower than that now. Yeah, he's just doing work here. This is kind of like that inevitability.
And that's the thing. Again, same, very similar style of pressure that Envy are able to put out. Oh, Envy.
Oh, LirA caught.
He needs to not die. He needs to keep his smite on the field. So burns everything to get away, but P1 have a little more breathing room now.
Yeah, that was the ulti from Shady and the ignite as well, but the flash from LirA, more valuable for sure, because that's the kickback onto arrow. That's how you disengage or how you help engage on this Envy team.
Well, Envy again going to keep recalling some money to spend by the looks of things. Yeah, huge amount of gold actually to go and spend. Yep. So need to actually get to their 10,000 gold lead. We're actually about almost half that, given how much gold they were holding. So now everyone's going to spend. And we should be in for a tussle soon.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting fight that comes up because Envy, like I said in Champion Select, they start fights from like getting a pick with Pirean or Hakuho, or even like just setting up a trap line and sieging. But LirA is kind of the kick back into the team, really start a fight off as opposed to a skirmish. But P1, they can just really set themselves up. They can have the damage reduction from Zig. They can actually just have a better team fighting composition overall. But you're so far ahead as Envy. Do you fight the team fighting comp because you're 10k up?
I mean, now P1 are forcing the issue. Seraph's down bottom. They're going to lose this inhib. The turret's already dead. P1 just sticking on the Baron and
There's
trying something. Here's the TP, and LirA also looking to steal it. Does he cancel? Seraph is going to join the team and poke them off it. Inside track on mid, perhaps Envy need to make a good macro decision here.
Pings onto the bottom turret, but now you have 2 globals, or a semi-global as well for Zig available. And he gets a clear bottom. They lose their turret, bait the Baron, so they traded their bottom turret, which was already super low, for teleport from Seraph. So what do they do with this pressure?
Well, they're going to clear out wards, but can't start the Baron just yet. Crab's going to give some of that away as well.
Yeah. Does Seraph keep pushing, or does he go for the Cloud Drake? I think he just pushes and goes for that inhibitor, trying to get some pressure on it, try to pull the Galio away from the rest of the team.
Yeah, the issue now is you don't have your teleport, so you can't join if a fight breaks out.
Yeah, but inhibitor, that's worth.
It is worth, especially if you're trying to go for Baron here, but Seraph, he can't overcommit to it because he can't see the rest of P1. I almost feel like he should have cancelled that TP.
Yeah.
And it's tough. These are really difficult decisions. Oh, what a stun! Apollo blown up! Ryu finds the angle. And that happened so fast.
Yeah, that looked like it was a stun there from Ryu. And now, do they do the Baron? Is this how P1 gets back into it? Is the team fighting comp going to be able to take a Baron? I'm not sure.
I mean, Seraph, again, still rejoining his team, has to stick around. P1 would love a turret. They've only got one, and it's in the top lane outer. Hakuho again, trying to get some vision down. Pirean happy to poke him with the Banshee's Veil. Look for a charm. Knocks the Banshees off. Ryu gets some damage on the back end as well.
They're trying to use the Kog'Maw. They say they have enough damage to try this.
Pretty good front line as well to tank the Baron. No threat of, again, inhibitor going down, but they just can't stick around for too long. That's going to give Apollo time to respawn. Once again, we reset the game.
Yep. Reset it. Inori's flash blown. That's about it. Oh, it's so tense because you're trying to look for something here as Phoenix1, but is that something just trying to make plays so that you can survive? Ryu? It's a W into E from that range, so he's normally out of Q range, and he felt safe, but yeah, that's also the E getting interrupted there.
Snuck into the brush as well. Really nice overall bit of play from Ryu, using the sweeper effectively. Cloud Drake over to Envy though.
And Ryu gets sweeper very frequently from what I have seen. They don't go for the double scrying orb.
Yeah, 3 sweepers is actually interestingly that both teams have gone for it this time around, but definitely it feels like a team style choice more than anything else.
Yeah.
Kind of fun to track.
When you're ahead, I approve because you just need to deny vision and bait objectives and stuff. For Envy's composition, I also approve for sure because of the fact that, well, you're just trying to deny vision, rotate, have split pushers, 1-3-1, but you do need a decent amount of vision.
All right, well, looks like Envy gonna again run the setup here. Need to not lose any carries.
Man, Ryu's just trying to be clutch. You think about Ryu on that Cassiopeia in the bush, saving games with a flash forward, petrifying gaze. He's trying to have plays like that here, but Envy are just playing it methodically. Seraph.
He's going to stay. I take it, I think. No, he wants to book it.
Here comes Ryu again.
Not safe. Good flash taunt. Ryu here with a stun. Seraph does have his flash. Redemption. Not going to catch him. Seraph going to keep running. Does flash.
Baron pings.
Stun was coming there for Ryu, but now, yeah, people have to run straight back.
Yeah, there's Baron pings, but there's also Pirean was on the top side turret, so he'll have a flank into this fight. You have to now, if you are P1, like be pulled between 3 objectives right now. What do you contest?
Seraph is staying. Zig does have his ultimate and his TP. He's going to TP into the Baron.
They're just going to pull off Baron. They're going to pull off Baron, and you have to say, what do we do?
He didn't cancel. That means they lose the inhib. In fact, it's already dead, and now they're on to Baron.
They have to start it.
It's more than started. They're doing it. Seraph might end the game if this doesn't work.
Ryu doesn't know what to do.
Oh, he got the top. Looks for Shady. Galio ulti already burnt. Knocks up LirA, who needs to get out.
They're buying time for Seraph.
LirA just smited the crab. Okay, Baron's done enough help, but Seraph is still trying to end this game.
Yeah, he's going to get that 1 turret.
And then Pirean again can cut them off here. Zig tagged. Justice Punch didn't go very far. Seraph isn't going to stay to try and end the game, but that was incredibly tense.
Well, now Seraph gets to go to top side and split push there if he wants to. He can continue to push bottom and try to win the game that way, or Pirean can go ahead and keep pushing the top, because that top inhibitor turret is so low as well. It's another point that Envy can start pushing for.
And again, so much credit to Envy for sticking to the plan this time around. I was worried that TP maybe should have not been cancelled, but again, Envy play it safe, and then they stick Seraph back in that bottom lane without the teleport, play around P1's attempts at forcing Baron, and then the plan, as it always was going to be, Seraph eventually was going to get that bot inhib, and now Envy have all this space to take the Baron and try and end the game.
Yeah, and they're so afraid of a team fight. It's like they aren't even checking their team fight power. They don't want to. Envy are saying if we are ever in that situation, even though they're stronger, there's still that coin toss. There's more variance to it. Play the map instead. And yeah, Seraph's going to go top because that top turret, that top inhib turret, is pretty much a Jayce W away from dying.
Supers as well to deal with. There is so much to struggle for here. For P1, Charm actually hits onto Zig. But not too much damage coming out of Pirean, especially with no Void stuff.
Well, somebody has to go bottom to deal with that wave, and Zig doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, P1 just want to fight by the looks of things. They kind of have to at this point. Like, sure, Kog'Maw's not exactly where he wants to be, but Ahri's not getting that much stronger given how much time they'll likely have in this game. So P1 trying something here.
TP, here goes Seraph,
Ahri
trying to end the game.
Knocked up there as
Backdoor,
well.
baby.
Hakuho coming in, but there's the TP from Seraph. He's going to look for it, and NV now just need to buy some time.
I think he's got this.
He's going to hit Arrow and Seraph onto the Nexus. It's open, it's ready. NV are going to get it. Pirean takes down Shady, but NV bait P1 in, and Seraph finish up the Nexus in style. Victory to NV.
The 10th place team from Spring take down the 3rd place team from Spring and start off week 1 with a 1-1 record.
Oh man.
Oh, crazy.
And again, NV said we'd like to see a little more diversity. We didn't get much of it in this game, but at least they consistently stuck to what their comp said they should be doing.
What did I tell you, man? I told you when Seraph, these split pushes, I don't always approve of the Jayce, I don't, but when it works for this guy, it works. He has won games by himself with backdoor TPs, with Nidalees, just constantly split pushing. The guy puts the game on his back, ends the game 0-2-1 as Jayce.
How many turrets did he kill? Do we have that stat on
More than champions.
Yeah, by a lot, I think. We'll have a little look.
Good lord. Hakuho doing the most damage in the game, too.
Of course.
Crazy. I mean, the guys, Zyra, this is comfort for them, but they got enough of an early lead off of those moves from LirA and the bottom lane to actually get themselves in a perfect spot where they're up 10,000 gold. Now you have P1 completely floundering, and the split push worked with the Jayce. This was something that I was a little bit worried about coming into it, because there are some better split push champions that are like more reliable, but Seraph's Jayce comes out on top. Makes me a believer for a moment.
I mean, I think the thing is, it also worked with Shen, and Shen also like other things. So, like,
I know.
yeah, again, a lot of different questions here for NV, but
it got banned though, so
finding a style that works for them, certainly looking good, ending out the series, and to walk us through that series now, let's check in with the analysts.
Thank you very much, PastryTime. I feel like this is the NV squad that we were waiting for the entirety of the spring split. We saw kind of moments of brilliance with the early leads they were able to create, and every once in a while they would snag the actual victory. But we were waiting for a team that showed clear direction and focus from minute 1 to Nexus fall, and we're finally getting it.
And I think a big part of that is, well, it's two things. I think one, Pirean's champ pool is just something that fits better in the meta. He's able to play control mages. We see him doing really well on Talil over the course of this series. And then finally on Ahri, getting a win on a different champion for the first time. That's huge, not losing the late game when you're stuck on control mages like Cassiopeia, having to pick Talon to be playing at your best. That kind of stuff helps. And then just the team coordination seems to be a little bit better, whether it's because they're playing longer together, maybe Pirean brings some extra shot calling to the team. There's a lot of stuff that works out well for them. And you end up kind of with a classic NV team comp in a sense, where you have Caitlyn for Apollo, you have Jayce for Seraph, and you have an assassin type champion in the mid lane, which is exactly what you would expect last season, but they just execute better this time around.
Yeah, let's remember, too, we can't forget that bot lane completely smashing in the 2v2, and that's going to raise some questions around P1's bot lane, because you've got the MVP and Arrow, the 3rd place team overall.
Yeah.
They've landed on Shady. This is the guy. They've deemed him their starting support, and yet this pair, this duo, is not finding success so far on the outset of the split.
And I think you have to put the majority of it on Shady. There's a lot of times where he's dying relatively early on, losing his flash and stuff like that, and then Arrow is left either dying as the second kill in a 2v2 after Shady makes a mistake, or, you know, just being disadvantaged, having to back off the situation, losing summoners and things like that. That said, I don't think you can totally separate Arrow from the problems. He's still making some mistakes and not working well enough with Shady to actually not even dominate lanes like we would hope, but just go even.
Right, 2 matches worth of evidence, so we're going to withhold making any firm stances on that bot lane as a whole, but it is clear that something's not working, and they have to fix it, and fix it soon in order to put, I mean, again, you're going to draft a Kog'Maw composition and put resources behind Arrow, then you actually have to make sure that you're playing the game to that win condition. And a support being dead for half the lane phase is not the way to support a Kog'Maw properly.
I mean, even the second game with the Twitch, same idea, to protect the Arrow comp and let him carry you. They fell behind early on. They had a really tough time getting back in the game. Eventually, he ends up with 9 kills and Ryu with 10. But they can't keep falling behind with these protect the AD carry compositions and then hoping Arrow and the rest of the team or the people they're playing against let them back into the game.
Especially when it's not just the bot lane that's losing, right? Okay, yes, great. The 2v2, Apollo and Hakuho are doing work, but now, as to your point, with Pirean's champion pool and kind of this this idea of direction that they now have mastered. Mastered is a strong word.
Well,
that they now
better.
have they now semi-understand, whatever wording you want to use, to pull him out of the mid lane, to affect the side lanes and now create advantages bot, mid, and top is where I think we have to look. And again, LirA and Pirean getting themselves out of the mid lane, moving to the top lane, setting up a sweet gank onto that Galio, putting Seraph on the Jayce in a position to be a late game split pushing threat for the remainder of the game.
And good follow-up just between Pirean and LirA in all phases. Obviously, the first one coming in the mid lane, gets set up by LirA. Pirean follows up well, despite the kick not actually being angled perfectly. Later, with the advantages they have in the mid lane, they start roaming up to the top side, influencing this matchup that it was actually P1 who changed first and shut the Jayce down. This time to get him kind of back in the game, which opens up that split push that wins them the game. Later on, after forcing the flash, once again, Pirean and LirA team up on the flash list. Ryu stuck in his own jungle, find another pick off. And with all this work that they did, they bought a lot of space for the Jayce pick to really get off the ground. And with this 4-man core, they keep all of P1 busy, who obviously want to group up with protect the Kog'Maw comp. And Jayce is just ending the game this entire time.
Which is wild, but it's wild to me because they pulled the trigger on it. Right? And I feel, again, we're gonna make this reference, I'm sure, plenty throughout the split because we're already seeing such a sharp contrast in style and adjustment from the squad. But Spring Split Envy would not have decisively made that call at this point in the game. I feel like there would have been a misposition somewhere. There would have been more tentativeness in the call itself, and therefore they wouldn't have fully committed to the end and stopping the backs, right? Or even in the Baron bait where they got the first Nexus turret just a minute or two prior, something would have gone wrong there. But it seems like everyone is just aligned on what the overall goal and sense of win condition is for the game.
I think a good play to look at for that would be the Baron that initially got the first Nexus turret, where P1 kind of grouped up around there, started forcing, and Envy challenged it really aggressively, but didn't overcommit. Pirean landed the charm onto Shady, got him low, but didn't look for the kill. He just ulted out. He's like, great, I'm stalling you. This is exactly what we want. We're going to let Seraph run wild in the bot lane with this Jayce split push. And, LirA smiting the Skeletal Crab might look crazy if you think the other team's going to smite the Baron, but he knows that's not the case. I just want to be healthy so they can't kill me, and then the Baron's free.
Right. Player of the game going to LirA this time around. Really no surprises here that he and Pirean, being the major playmakers out of the mid lane and getting the acceleration in the early game is what contributed largely to the win. But one last thing I want to talk about is that champion pool for Pirean. Again, we're looking at a very small set of games, and therefore we only have so much data to use. Okay, clearly a solid Taliyah player, seems to be able to do some of the same things on Ahri. Where else can he go? Because a part of the issue with Ninja, as we mentioned, was that champion pool. Not just that it wasn't the right meta champions, but that it wasn't big enough.
Yeah, because, for the most part, during that meta, Talon was actually okay. You had to comp around it in certain ways, and that kind of limits what you're trying to do, but at the very least, it was a strong pick. The problem was once he got banned off that, his champ pool seemingly fell apart from there. Here, Pirean on the Taliyah was something that you start having to target. Once you target that, what else does he have? Seemingly the Ahri, and at this point, you're starting to be like, well, how many bans are we really going to throw at Pirean when you have LirA and Apollo looking better on a couple champions? Seraph still has his crazy pocket picks here with the Blade of the Rune King Jayce, which we've hardly touched on.
Some questions left to be answered around Pirean. Good news is Azael standing by to ask them for us. So for our first-hand account of that win, let's toss it down to him as he's standing by with Envy's new mid laner.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Pirean after a victory over P1. First off, congratulations. And, you're a new member on the team. So I want to ask you, how has your time been on Envy so far, and how are things shaping up for the team?
It's been really good. I'm screaming with them really well. And when I was on P1, I wanted to play on as a starter, but instead of running from Ryu, so I saw Ninja went to out of MB. So I asked my P1 owner and let me my contract release and joined it here.
So, talking about, Ninja as a former player on MV and now you coming in, what are some of the differences between you and Ninja as players? Like, what are you bringing to the team that he was maybe missing?
I think I can give them carry when we need to carry. I can carry them. So MB usually wins early game, but usually use late game. I think that's because they didn't have the carry member that much, so Since I joined, we have now carry members, so we can win really easily.
Oh, it's really good to have. So you'll have their strong early game already, and now adding a great late game carry. Things should be going well. How did it feel to be playing against your old team? You know, Ryu replaced you on P1. Now you got to beat him here. Did that feel pretty good?
I feel a little kind of sorry to them too. Also feels good, but at the same time I feel kind of sorry because of it's my old team. Also, against P1 I don't feel nervous than other team because we were staying for a long time. So I don't get nervous first time. It's kind of fun.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations again on the win, and we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back with more NA LCS. Thank you very much.
No ward bottom here. That root misses Shady,
Not
but...
gonna get Shady, but yeah, he's gonna get slowed down. First blood that goes over to Shady. LirA not quite there in time. LirA lines it up. Kick not quite there. The charm is great, but a good touch from Ryu. Never mind, LirA still gets it.
I'm going towards top. Be careful.
Just Youngie.
Lulu here.
Nice.
Nice. Lulu mid. Snowball.
No, he's gonna flash over. Block him.
I can W in 3.
Oh, taunt him. Nice.
Let's go to shift there.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
it's gonna be.
Seraph onto the Nexus. It's open. It's ready. EnVy are going to get it. Pirean takes down Shady, but EnVy bait P1 in, and Seraph finished up the Nexus in style. Victory to EnVy.